as a social media creator, all the people that I reach, I still may never reach the people in your circle, the people that you interact with every day. And so it's up to you.
Welcome to the Jesus Storybook Bible Podcast, a place where we remind you that grace can rewrite any story, that hope shines a light through our darkest moments, and that God's love changes lives. Here's your host, New York Times bestselling author, Sally Lloyd Jones.
Hello, I'm Sally Lloyd Jones, author of the Jesus Storybook Bible, which tells the story of God's never stopping, never giving up, unbreaking, always and forever love. Welcome to the show. We're talking about making a difference right where we are, the power of empathy and kindness and compassion, and how doing even the smallest things make a big difference. A quote often attributed to Dr. Martin Luther King goes like this: "If I cannot do great things, I can do small things in a great way." Vincent van Gogh said this: "Great things are done by a series of small things brought together." Dwight L. Moody said this: "There are many of us that are willing to do great things for God, but few of us are willing to do little things." Brother Lawrence said this: "We can do little things for God. I turn the cake that is frying on the pan for love of Him. And that done, if there is nothing else to call me, I prostrate myself in worship before Him, who has given me grace to work. Afterwards I rise happier than a king." Our guest today is illustrator and activist Danielle Coke Balfour. Through her words and illustrations, she draws attention to places we can be doing good in the world, even in the smallest ways. After leaving a job in 2019, Danielle leaned into her faith and started her own digital marketing and design agency. Aligning her new business with mission-minded organizations, she has developed a thriving platform built on the concepts of justice, equality, and empathy. She has a gift for taking complex ideas, finding the common theme which intersects all of our lives, and making it easier to understand. Her website has this wonderful motto: "Seek justice and stay hopeful." Her passion is to help everyone know we can all make a difference, exactly where we are. It reminds me of what Elizabeth Elliot said: "Just do the next right thing." Danielle also encourages us to hold on to the truth that sets us free from the grip of perfectionism. Namely, God's love is not something we have to earn. Danielle is filled with such joy and grace and generosity. It shows up in her work and in everything she shares with us today. I hope you'll be as encouraged as I was listening to her beautiful message of hope. So, without further ado, please welcome my friend and now yours, Danielle Coke Balfour.
My name is Danielle Coke Balfour. I am an illustrator and activist, and I like to say that I use art and words to help people seek justice and stay hopeful. I got my start creating social justice illustrations and illustrations about loving your neighbor in a way that was accessible and tangible and easier to understand for the everyday person who may not be super active in justice language or justice spaces. I got my degree in business administration with hospitality concentration, and then I got my job at an event planning agency, which I thought was so my whole life goal. I thought I was going to do that forever. But as time went on, I realized that I was actually a bit more passionate about the design and marketing stuff than I was about the event planning stuff. And so eventually I saved up a couple paychecks and I quit my job after lining up a few graphic design clients. And I kind of just quit in faith. And I was like, I'm going to make this happen for myself. And so being passionate about things like racial justice led me to partnering with organizations who were mission-based and did that kind of work and were a bit too busy doing that work on the ground to think about their social media platforms or things like that. And so that was my way to collaborate with them and kind of help further their missions. I started learning digital art just for fun and started posting digital art, and my platform slowly started to grow, which was so wild to see. That is how I went from running my small graphic design agency to then sharing art for hundreds of thousands of people across the internet who cared about living a life of love and justice right where they were. I view art as a means to an end. I think my overarching goal is to share these concepts of justice and equality and empathy in a way that will help it land for the everyday person. And so I start my process with research and looking into issues that are happening in the world around us. And then through those issues, maybe it's a trending topic or a news story or headline, I search within these stories for the heart of it, the common thread that can be pulled and taken and have a wide application. For example, there was a headline of something tragic that was taking place in a country outside of the US. And I was following the story and it was just so heartbreaking. And then within it, I pulled out the heart of it, which to me was, it shouldn't have to happen to you for it to matter to you. And that's the message that I chose to share online. Instead of sharing, the headlines and the details of the story, I thought, what is something that we can all take away from this and use it beyond just the situation? And so that was me wanting to share about the power of empathy. And so I took that idea and illustrated it. And then that has become one of the most widely shared illustrations I've ever made. People tend to disqualify themselves when conversations get a little bit more tricky. They can get a little bit more heavy, have a lot more implications. And I think our natural bend often is to say, I'm leaving it for the people who dedicate their whole lives to this or have degrees in this. And we fail to realize that a lot of the responsibility lies on us and the way we live our day-to-day lives, and that we're not far removed from these issues simply because we may not be perfect or super knowledgeable about everything. I think the key for widespread change is each individual person recognizing that they have a part to play in the larger story of justice, of empathy, equality, and love. And so when I take a complex idea and I translate it, it's helping someone see this in a different light or see it in a way that they never saw it before. And it's encouraging because now they're like, oh, if that's what that means, I see ways that I can apply that in my daily life right now. So why don't I? And that actually feels like the key to change. It's about accessibility. We can have conversations at collegiate grad school levels about things, and then we can also have conversations around the dinner table about things. And the conversations around the dinner table matter so much because these are the people we do life with. And we want to align as much as we can the people in our lives with these ideas because it's the way we spread good and the way we make change. I encourage people to do good daily, right where they're planted. And so for me, that's encouraging people to look at the world around them and say, okay, I may not have hundreds of thousands of followers, but I do have this family that I live with every day. Or if I live alone, I do have these communities that I go to, whether it's school or my job or my church or wherever I may find myself. And these are the people that I've been called to impact. And so I want people to understand that when you choose to not just do good deeds, but to really embody the values that matter the most to you, you're reaching people that I will never reach. And so that can look like, okay, I'm going to listen to this new podcast that is about this specific issue. And maybe I'll listen to a 10-minute episode today or a 40-minute episode on Saturday while I'm cleaning. And I'm learning actively about this issue and equipping myself to better be able to communicate it, as well as brainstorm and think through solutions that I could even work towards in my own daily life. Whether that's hearing about an organization and being like, oh, I can give $5 to that today, or finding a book and saying, okay, I can spend 10 minutes tonight reading about this. Learning is so, so important in a huge way that we can do good every day by becoming more aware and knowledgeable about the situations and the issues and the causes around us. It's just becoming more aware, opening our eyes to the world around us and saying, how am I meant to love today? How is that meant to look today? It's just so unique and different for everyone. And it also can incorporate our passions and the things that we love. I truly believe that remembering God's love for us frees us from the grasp of perfectionism and is a reminder that whether I do this or not, whether I finish this to-do list or not, whether I have this conversation perfectly or not, I am loved, period. And there's nothing I have to do to earn it or work for it. And that's something that's been transformative for my own life. And I think when we remember that, it can be freeing for us as well. This is a passage from the Jesus Storybook Bible called The Forgiving Prince, about Joseph and his brothers from Genesis 37 to 46. Joseph looked at his brothers and his eyes filled with tears. Even though his brothers had hurt him and hated him and wanted him dead, in spite of everything, he couldn't stop loving them. His heart, which they had broken, filled up with love, and Joseph forgave them. Joseph threw his arms around them. "Don't be afraid," he said. Behind what you were doing, underneath everything that was happening, God was doing something good. God was making everything right again. Joseph didn't punish them, he rescued them. He brought God's special family to live safely with him in Egypt. One day, God would send another prince, a young prince whose heart would break. Like Joseph, he would leave his home and his father. His brothers would hate him and want him dead. He would be sold for pieces of silver. He would be punished even though he had done nothing wrong. But God would use everything that happened to this young prince, even the bad things, to do something good, to forgive the sins of the whole world. I think it's so transformative to think about how someone who has been abandoned and hurt and all of those horrible things could still turn around and say, "I still love you," and that love is going to lead me to not just say it, but to do good on your behalf by taking care of you. And that is the kind of love that we've been called to live into.
You can get the Jesus Storybook Bible wherever books are sold. To find out more about the book and all of Sally's other books, please visit Sally at sallylloyd-jones.com and follow her on Instagram at Sally Lloyd Jones and at Jesus_Storybook_Bible.
Before we go, don't forget, God loves you with a never stopping, never giving up, unbreaking, always and forever love. Oh, hello, it's me again, Sally. I'm just popping back briefly to say two things. The first thing is, don't forget to subscribe to the show, because that way you'll get the stories straight to your phone. And the other thing is, while we're at it, would you rate the show and leave us a review? That would be so great, because it helps other people find the show too. I really appreciate your help. Thank you.